Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of the Long, Cozy, Quiet Roads. Why did I say long? There is no long in the name. I just thought I would make a long episode for once. And today we're going to talk about why I hate having a crush. Before I go on to my rant about why I hate having a crush, I want to talk about why it's actually a good thing to have a crush when you're single. Firstly, I think it's a good get away from thinking about your ex, especially when you're broken up and you're grieving the loss of your ex and you're constantly spiraling down with the thoughts of your ex, which might seem very exhausting, and maybe you're going to therapy about it. I don't know. Having a crush is a nice getaway from those thoughts because now you'll be a bit hopeful of the future and you're imagining how they and you might be in the future, how they might be with your parents. I know this is all delusional, but having to think of the future, a hopeful one at that, is a great thing if you are going through a breakup. It diverts you. It distracts you and it gives you a hope of a better future, and that's all you need when you're going through a breakup because you can finally be out of that dark, grumpy ex thoughts and move on to focusing on your life and how you would be with someone else. And I think that's great about having a crush. It makes you feel positive. It is great that way. But everything else about having a crush, I feel, is very, very tough in my opinion. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode of why I hate having a crush. I think the first point of contention here is this constant tension between being a friend and then being a romantic partner. A crush, by definition, is the strong feeling you have towards someone that is romantic. But then the question is, how do the other person look at this relationship? Are they also looking at this the same way as you do? Do you think they're crushing on you? Or are you alone in this and only you are crushing on them? And for me, that confusion is very, very insane and gets me overthinking a lot sometimes because since you are attracted to them, you're gonna talk about your crush a lot to your friends, to your family, and gonna constantly think about them, put them in various situations, and imagine how they would be and how many kids you're going to have, and etc. and etc. But then you don't really know if that future is going to get instantiated or if the future is real or you're just delusional. And the other problem with having a crush is the constant wanting to talk to them, and it's gonna get awkward if the other person doesn't realize you like them. For example, in my situation, I really want to talk to them a lot, but the context we have between us is more in the direction of friendship, and we just got to know each other recently. And if I keep talking to them or texting them or calling them, it's gonna get very awkward, and that is a real big problem because you want to talk to them, but you can't make it very obvious that you like them. Here I'm assuming that I don't want to tell them that I like them, and explain why I don't want to tell them that I like them. Imagine you do end up telling them you like them. Then the two possibilities are, well, they might respond positively and say, "Hey, I like you too and maybe we should go out." That's good. That's a positive response. And yeah, you might go out and that's okay. But the other half possibility is they telling you, "No, I don't like you. I don't see you that way. It's not you, it's me, blah, blah." This is problematic because now you're going to lose them. And I mean, lose them as a friend. Obviously, you're going to lose them as a crush, but you're also going to lose them as a friend. And for me, that is not okay because you cannot be friends with someone whom you have publicly told that you like them. I think that's not possible. It's insane because I think it's gonna get very awkward for one. And the second thing is every time you tell them or talk to them or even try to meet them, the other person is going to think, "Hey, he's still flirting with me. Is he still wanting to meet me because he likes me, etc., etc." I think it builds a lot of unwanted awkwardness in the relationship, and I think eventually that most of relationships end that way, and for me that is not okay. The other part of this equation that I don't really like is if you have to ask them out or propose them. I think all the bad proposals on the internet are because one person has a crush on the other, and the other person sees them as a very perfectly fine normal friend, and as a result when you propose them they're gonna eventually say no, and that's gonna destroy the relationship as is. But also I think I don't really like proposing because I think it affects my self-esteem. It's like, how can you say no to me? I'm so perfect. I'm not perfect, but I think it just hurts my ego. It bruises my ego in ways that I can't go back to. So I really hate the part where you have to propose or ask out that person. The way I like to have my relationships is usually to build up to a point where it's so evident that we both like each other and we just can't stay without each other because we are really great friends. I think we should just date at this point. That's the kind of relationships that I like. Or the other kind of relationship I like is when we start out on a note of romantic relationship. This is maybe you met someone at a party and you strictly talk with that tension between you. I think from the moment you met, since you met them in the context of some romantic interest, maybe it's a dating app, or maybe it's a house party, or maybe it's a random meetup or whatever. But the idea is from the start there is a tension of romance between you two. So it eventually leads to a relationship that's okay. But the problem with the crush is maybe they are your friend for a long time, and since you are single now, you are starting to crush on them, and this is going to change the dynamic of the relationship you have had with that person. And that for me is terrible thing because you're looking at it from a romance point of view, but they're looking at it from a friendship point of view, and that is bad state to be in. It drains a lot of mental energy because you constantly keep talking about them to your family and friends, but you deep down know that they are not doing this. Maybe you don't know if they're doing the same thing, but every time you have a conversation with them, it's really nice and smooth. So I think this confusion in yourself of wanting something from your relationship with them but not knowing if you'll get it is a very terrible place to be in because it's confusing and there's this mix of excitement and anxiety at the same time, and it leads to overthinking. I think every time there is a confusion in yourself between what you want and whether you'll get it or not, I think it leads to overthinking until it's realized. So the only thing I can do right now is go to them and express my emotions about how I feel for them. But even deep down, I know these feelings might not be true after all. And that's a sad realization because I don't know if I'm crushing on them because I genuinely like it and admire them, or am I just doing this because I'm so desperate and single and I just meet someone who is really cute and nice and I'm just starting to crush on them. I have no idea which one is this. And that state of being in confusion between whether this feeling is real or is this just because I'm single and I have this need for a partner and I'm just doing this because of that need. That is also a very confusing state to be in. And this confusion kills me from inside and makes me really uncomfortable to exist. But my current plan of action right now is to kind of trying to build a better friendship with that person because I really don't want to propose them or ask them out and ruin this friendship forever because I'm pretty sure it's gonna backfire. So what I'm trying to do is assume nothing from the other person. Let's assume I don't know, which I don't know, but let's say they do like you too in a hypothetical situation. And since you already like them, my plan of action to build a friendship will eventually succeed, and then maybe they will express their emotions or you will, and eventually end up together. That's great. But if not, maybe they're seeing you as a friend, and since you like them, building a great friendship with them is going to benefit you in the long term, because you still will have them as a friend in the end, because they'll not propose to you and you will obviously not propose to them, and hopefully this romantic feeling will die down eventually if it's temporary. Maybe you'll have a new crush or you have a new girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and then you'll still have them as a good friend and you can be friends with them forever, and it's a beautiful ending. So this is the plan I'm sticking to right now, which is just try to be a good friend, try to talk to them as often as possible without making it seem too obvious that I want to talk to them all the time, and then see where it goes. I want to give it a couple of years at least, and I think that's a change for me, because had it been me a half a decade before, I did do this one time where I saw a girl, and then after 3 days I was on my knees saying how I like her. I did that. I was very stupid back then. But now I think I'm at a place where I can wait a couple of years to see where this goes. And if it goes in the direction I want, that's great. If it doesn't, I think that's okay too. Because right now, what I want is for my feelings to stabilize. I think feelings are like a very disturbed noise. All right, because there's a lot in them, and it's a burst of emotions, especially when you have a strong sense of crush on someone. It's a burst of emotions. You have this lot of flowery emotions, and I think the genuine ones get lost in them. So the only way to disambiguate this situation is to kind of give it some time. All right, give it a couple of years, and then eventually, even after a couple of years, if you still like them, then maybe you can ask them out or tell them how you like them. The only problem in this plan is if someone else gets in this way and maybe, they are in a relationship by then, I think that's very bad. But I don't see any other better way to play this game other than just to wait and hopefully everything works out at the end. So yeah, that's today's episode of why I hate having a crush. I think it's mentally draining, and it's also this mix of excitement and anxiety that is really confusing, and all the other confusions that come with having a crush is what makes me hate having a crush. I don't want to have a crush, but I have a crush. So, but I'm gonna just stick to my plan of action, which is to wait patiently and try to build friendship, as good of a friendship I can build with them without making it awkward, and then see where things go. If things are meant to go in the direction, I hope they will, and eventually I'll get married to that person and have kids. If not, I hope I'll get married to someone else and have kids. Marriage, in my opinion, is so important, and that'll be the next episode, hopefully. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye. Take care.